Welcome to the first ever episode of Real Producers TV. I am your host, Jordan Espeseth, and I am with our latest rising stars. This is Brian and Tisha White with EXP. Guys, welcome so much to the first show.
Thank you.
Jordan.
Thanks for having us.
Excited to be here today.
Yes, this is a pretty cool setup. We're excited to get launching with RPTV.
Yeah.
And to have you guys as the first ones.
Well, thanks for having us as your first ones. We are glad to be your guinea pigs for this.
Yes. So this is cool because this the feature that you guys are going to be in is around the concept. The whole issue is kind of based around power couples.
Oh.
Yes. And
Yes.
That is exactly what you are. So you guys are, how long have you been married, by the way?
20 years.
We've been married 20 years.
20 years.
Yay. You
Congrats.
can tell by the gray in
Was it-
Brian's beard here. We're getting up there.
There you go. 20 years. And you guys are, on your third year of real estate?
So this is our fourth together.
Fourth together.
And then she started a year-ish before I did.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
so-
right. But didn't become a power couple till you came on board.
That's
That's
right,
true.
because
So that-
before that, I was just dabbling in it. I was like, oh, yay, we'll buy some property and this and that. And then I recruited him.
She did.
And then
Yes.
all the craziness began, Jordan.
Yes, and we're going to get into that because you guys have built this amazing business in less than 4 years. And not a lot of people have had the success that you guys had. So I'm really excited to kind of dive into you guys' world and where you came before that. And,
Awesome.
And we'd love to learn more about you guys. And so tell us, what did you guys do prior to real estate?
Oh, man, that seems like a long time ago now, doesn't it?
Was a little bit. You want to start?
No, you start.
Okay.
You start. You have the illustrious career.
So I was in the corporate world. So I was a sales director for many years at companies like Dell and Lenovo.
Okay.
So I was in acquisition sales, had big sales teams where we went out and called on the Fortune 50 to try to sell them big technology to the biggest companies out there.
How long did you do that for?
15 years.
Okay.
15 years, so it's quite a while.
Did you like it? Did you?
You know what? I loved it.
Yeah,
So it was a great career. Both of the companies I worked for were awesome. They had awesome training. They were great organizations. Their leadership was really great.
They kept you running pretty hard, and you liked that. I mean, you liked the pace of it.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. So it was terrific. We were successful. We really had a great career there. We just, for a variety of reasons, that decided we want to work for ourselves. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What was one of those reasons? Was your time taken up a lot with that job?
Yeah, so that was a big part of it, right?
Yeah.
So, I mentioned it being, national, where I was traveling all over the country, and we have 3 boys.
Yeah.
So, I was traveling 3 days a week, sometimes more than that, and that's tough when, our boys are our world.
Yes.
Our family is everything to us, so it's tough to find that balance, and we didn't find that balance, so we had to look for other things.
Yeah, that's tough in the corporate world to find
And
balance.
I think when they were little, it was okay because they were just babies and they were little, and that's what we were doing. But as they started getting a little older, they needed their dad around more.
sure.
I mean, it was 3 boys, and they needed more of his influence. And so yeah, this ended up being the perfect solution to that.
And so you were corporate. What were you prior?
So I had the 3 boys, and so before I had the 3
that
boys,
was the full. That was the
that
job.
was the full-time job. That was the full-time job. It still is actually today. But the before that, I was actually with Dell, and funny thing, I worked there before Brian, and kind of got him an interview there. So
Dell-
there's a
Dell
little bit
power
of
couple.
Yes,
yeah.
that's right.
Then we
That's
were a
right.
Dell power couple for a while, and that was. But then we started having kids, and I decided to stay at home with them. During that, I dabbled in some other things. I had an interior design business,
Okay.
which was a lot of fun. I still enjoy that aspect of what we do as well. I do a lot of our staging, and so that's fun because I still get to participate in a little bit of that.
Yeah.
But primarily, it was chasing after those boys. So that was a lot of work.
Your 3 boys.
Yeah,
not
our
okay.
3
Just
boys,
wanted to
yes,
clarify.
yes.
That is good. Thanks for.
I just wanted to.
That's good.
I'm glad
That's
you
good.
clarified.
just chasing after them
That's
boys.
Chasing after them
Yep,
boys.
yep.
While Brian's out of town. Wait, what? Wait.
That's amazing.
That's awesome. So you were the first one to go into real estate.
I was, and I was actually we've always had an affinity for real estate, and that went into my interior design business, but it also went into us like moving a lot, and that was something we kind of enjoyed. And we would always find ourselves driving around neighborhoods, knew all the neighborhoods, price points, and so I was approached while we were looking at moving at one point in time by a real estate agent that I made, who has said, hey, you would be great in real estate. Have you ever thought about getting in real estate? And I came back and told Brian, and he was like, do it. Do it.
Like, no doubt. Yes,
oh
absolutely.
my God.
Right now.
Yeah.
He's like, go do it right now. And I was like, oh, okay. I mean, he felt really strong about it. So I was like, okay, I'll go do that. And so I just jumped into it, got my license, and then like 6 months later, I was like, what am I doing? So
It wasn't an easy start, I take it, those
yeah,
first
I
six,
mean, real estate's not an easy. I think people think it's going to be so easy. I mean, a lot of people make it look easy, but it's not. It's not an easy.
People think it's about the pretty houses.
Yeah.
Right? Hey, we like going to model homes, so I'd be a great real estate agent.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they like the free time, and they like the
Free time,
unlimited
and the
amount of money you can
flexibility,
make.
and the unlimited amount of money, and
Yeah.
and it actually takes a lot of grit to get in there and be successful in the business. And really, I saw that potential, but I knew I couldn't do that really on my own with the busy schedule that I'd already created with our children.
Yeah.
And so Brian you'd been wanting to do something.
Mm-hmm.
He'd been looking at all these crazy ideas to just become more entrepreneurial. I was like, oh, we can't afford to do that. Like, so
You got a good job. It's got benefits.
yeah, like,
Yes, the benefits.
Yeah, so when I got into real estate, I was really paying attention to what people are doing, and I was like, gosh, I think we could really build something here together.
Yeah.
So,
And you guys have totally done that.
and
Yeah.
we've totally done that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, so she's got, she jumped into it. What she's great at is attracting people, right? So she's great
Boys.
boys, yes, specifically, that's right. That's great. She's great at connecting people, though. Being friends with people, seeing needs, and helping and serving people and connecting different people that can answer those problems.
Yeah.
She's also awesome at the real estate side. I call her Rain Man.
Ah.
Right, so if she's ever seen a floor plan, we'll go places and she'll say, "You remember the Johnsons have that house with the it's got the 3-2, it's the office in the back." I'm like, Do I know the Johnsons? Right, so I've
I never
very-
met the Johnsons.
Yeah, he's like, I don't know what you're
Let
talking
alone what
about.
type of bathroom
You
they
know?
have.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I'll like remember it and have every detail lined out in my head. And
Now,
he's
is
like,
that just with homes, or is that like, do you have like some crazy memory?
No,
with...
it's really with homes. Like, it's a weird thing, but it's with homes and decor, and I'm so kind of obsessed with that I just,
You just love that
remember
world,
it.
so-
Yeah, I just remember it. So
Yeah. That's
So
awesome.
so she's awesome at that
Yeah.
piece. Not necessarily the doer, though. Not necessarily she mentioned grit. Not necessarily the person that just kind of comes in and bangs their head against the wall over and over again,
Yeah.
or the person with systems that would go in and do something that's repeatable and that you can grow.
Sure.
Right. And so I
And insert you.
insert me,
Yeah.
who in the corporate world used to get paid for banging my head against the wall. I mean, that's like the job. Acquisition sales, right? You get told paid for being told no over and over again until you finally get to the yes. So when we married, we were already married, but when we married those two things in business, it ended up just being a great fit.
Yeah. No, absolutely. That's like Geneva and I, like she's more analytical. She's very detailed.
Yeah.
I'm very not that. And so like I just kind of bumble my way through, situations and
yeah,
meet people
you're
and-
out there meeting people. You're out there with the people and connecting people. And
Yeah.
but when you're like that, you can't connect those dots.
Yes. Yeah, you need that the yin and the yang type
Yeah.
concept. So at Dell, did you guys really work together though, or were you just more at the same company?
We were just at the same company.
Okay.
Yeah, we were at the same company. I think for a little while we might have been in the same building,
Okay.
but I mean, weren't.
It's
We're
so
nowhere near each
big
other.
there. It's
Yeah.
just massive at Dell. I mean, so our campus was huge. I mean,
Yeah.
you could not see each other ever on that campus and be like, one building away
Sure.
from each other.
So you guys, at this point, I mean, what are you guys on track to produce this year? Home sold, volume, do you guys have those numbers? And what have you done so far in your very short career, like total? Do you know what that's
I think
at?
you have a good general idea
Yeah,
of
so
how much.
this year is our fourth year in the business, and we'll do 21, 22 million.
That's awesome.
Something like that, and that's so as we finish 4, and it'll be 3 and 9 months or so at the end of this year. We'll have done about 75.
Yeah.
75, 77 million, something like that.
production.
So that's most people don't do that, right? And by most I mean like 99% of real estate agents who get in do not do that.
Yeah.
So what? Why do you think that is? Like, why have you guys had so much success and so much success early on?
Well, I think a big part of it is, like I was saying, when we married our kind of two personalities into real estate, they really did just make a great fit in terms of the real estate market and what's needed to be successul in that market. We had a lot of those aspects, and so that was great. The other thing is I'm very expensive.
True story. True story.
She just said she bought shoes like what, like on the way over or something?
Exactly. I got these shoes on. They're cute. Like you know, we were already experiencing a certain level of success, and neither of us really wanted to
Go the other direction. Yeah.
And
who would, right?
who would? I mean, then you're like, well, why would we do it? So
it wasn't retirement, right? So our plan in leaving the corporate world was not, okay, this is what retirement looks like, and this is the start of kind of easing back.
Right.
It was really the promise of building our own business and taking our business and our life to the next level.
Yeah.
That inspired us to do it.
Yeah.
And it was just hitting the pavement, right? I mean, like, wow. I mean, you worked hard at Dell. You worked hard in all the jobs you've done, but I mean, you were like...
The really is, I probably didn't take a day off for a year and a half.
Yeah.
I mean, like not one.
When you got into real estate.
Yeah.
When we got into real estate. Now that some days that's 2 hours, right? But I mean, there were like no days away completely for a really long time.
Yeah, you can't step away.
When you've created this, financial thermometer is one of the things we talk about in the business, right? Your expectation is here. Well, I've got 3 kids. They have to go to college. They've got all of that has to continue if we're going to be a success in real estate. It can't be the same as it was before. It has to go up.
So are you guys those types of people who have like, these are our goals for the year, like financially and all, like every aspect of your life? Do you guys have set goals, or are you just like, we're going that way? Like, are you guys specific in that?
So I'll say we are specific in it, and we do have specific goals. They are so big as to be, every year they've been so big as to be unachievable. So we need to do a better job of setting realistic goals that we can measure ourselves against.
Sure.
Because we're just like, we need to go 4x next year. Okay.
You gotta get the positive,
Right.
experience of reaching that goal. I mean, it can be a little bit deflating if you're always coming up short.
And here's what I'll say about goals too. It's an interesting thing because you can hear this interview, you can listen to other agents, you can hear them talk about their goals and goal setting. But it's not something we really did at a high level before real estate. And when you get into business for yourself, that's all you have. You don't really have a boss or them setting goals for you. Like, you have to get out there and set them yourself. And it's a process that we're constantly working towards, is to get better at that. So you don't all of a sudden just go, I'm going to set these goals and just crush them every day. Like, we've been talking to our kids about some of their homework, but your goals are like an elephant, and you eat an elephant one bite at a time.
Yes.
And we've failed a lot at the goals that we've set. But we just keep pushing forward and keep resetting them, right? And so...
Well, one of the things that we do is we use a particular journal, right? Where you set...
He says we, he.
Okay.
You don't have to throw me into that one.
The detailed guy.
Yeah, so I use a particular journal, right? So we set a 90-day goal, right? And then there's 3 goals. And then I'm writing those 3 goals down every single day. And then, everybody's got a calendar that was already preset for the day, but every day I go through my calendar for the day, and are there things on the calendar that don't satisfy those goals?
Yeah.
That don't satisfy the 3 things that I've got to do today to get me to those goals. And if there are, because there always are, then I don't need to do those today. Do I need to do them at all?
Right.
And do you kick them out?
It's like the Gary Keller book, One Thing.
It is absolutely the one thing.
Yeah. What is the one thing I could do right now that would make everything else,
easier or obsolete?
Yep. Yeah. Have you guys read Chop Wood, Carry Water?
No.
So it's a really good
I haven't
book.
even heard of that one.
Yeah,
New books to order on Amazon.
Well, it's really... I was just staying in Geneva last night because I got another book where it's like super like small print and long chapters.
Yeah.
Whereas like this one's short, like I can read a chapter in like 2 minutes, so I'm like, I feel like I'm just flying through the book. Right? Positive reinforcement.
I'm so smart.
Yeah,
Look at me
look
reading
at
this
me
book.
go. But he shared a concept on like goals where people goals can ruin. Let me give the example. It was this guy who was on this trip. I think they were in like Croatia or something like that, and he was with his girlfriend, and they were having an amazing time. They had one day left, and they had to go to this beautiful waterfall. There was like a 5-hour trip, and there's this beautiful the beautiful waterfall.
Yeah.
They had to get there. And so they planned the day out, and things were not going as planned, and they had to leave. That was the only day they could see it. It was 5 hours to get there, and there was all these things that got in the way, and he was just so like uptight and angry and like arguing with her. Like she said, we don't need to do that. Like we can just go do something else. And he was just fierce. No, we're gonna go to the waterfall, and like almost got them like in danger because trying to get there. And then like so they made a cool concept. Like a lot of people they fixate on these goals, but they're I guess not enjoying the process and like who they're going in the process.
I think it's so interesting that you bring that up because that's something I think we even have to work on more than the goal setting because it is easy to like kind of set some goals and work towards them, but we're like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Like we've been married 20 years. Like what are we doing? Are we enjoying the process?
Yep.
Are we enjoying our kids? And if we're so focused on that goal and not taking the time to enjoy where we're at, we're going to miss some pretty important stuff with the kids and with each other.
There's always a next.
Yeah.
There's always a next thing to do. There's always a next goal. There's always the future. But you need to enjoy where you're at today. That doesn't mean you're not pursuing better or more or whatever the thing is. But you need to enjoy where you're at today.
Yeah. Enjoy literally the surroundings and the people and taking in the moment of the room, all those things.
And that I think has helped a lot with our success is keeping a lot of enjoyment and laughter and fun in our life. So we're enjoying what we're doing, not just pressing towards these goals to get somewhere and then go, then we can finally stop and enjoy life. We do enjoy our life a lot.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. All right, so tough question.
Okay, here we go.
What is the biggest challenge of being married and working in the business together?
Oh man, you want to answer that, and then I'll get out the baseball bat.
So I'll answer that one, and I'll
let me hit the bat out.
I'll tell you what I think she'll say.
Okay, even better.
Uh-oh, what a start here.
Well, so the reality is, I only have one topic. And the business is my only topic, right? So it is, it's my work, it's my hobby. I do other stuff, right? But I mean, so I'm thinking about it all the time.
Yeah,
and it's ideas, and it's clients, and it's projects, and it's whatever else. So the fact that everybody talks about their work with their spouse, right? But the fact that she's also my partner, right? I value her opinion on what's going on in the business, like I should, and we talk through things, and then there's more. So I'm always talking about that.
Yeah.
It's always talking about work. Now, what do you think I was going to say?
That's what he thought you were going to say.
That is what I thought you were
That's what I was going to say.
Uh-oh. Now,
sorry, you were talking about work, she just tuned it out.
that's exactly.
You know what that is? I mean, it's tricky. I mean, it goes back to just like we were saying with the goal setting. I mean, you have to have a lot of clarity when you're a husband and wife team that your marriage is the most important thing on the agenda, period, the end.
Right.
You don't want to, we know and have known of a lot of couples who really look successful on paper and on
Camera,
that kind of stuff. But in real life, they're falling apart.
Yeah.
And then soon you hear that they're separating, that they're divorcing. And this happens a lot with couples in real estate. And so, we have our work goals, but we have our family goals, and we have to keep those in order. So even though we're both in business together, I still put our family kind of first so I could keep all of that in order to take a lot of that off of his plate so that when he's not thinking about work and those 2 hours during the working day, when he's not, he can enjoy the kids and he can enjoy our time together. And so we have to say no to talking about work all the time and yes to other things,
Yeah, that's tough.
It's tough.
That's tough.
Yeah.
We can relate to that. Geneva and I can relate to that.
Yeah.
You know, but there's also, so there obviously is not negatives, but things that are tough about working together. But what do you guys love about working together?
Well, I think on the same sense, it's so fun that we do get to talk to each other about this stuff all the time.
Yeah.
Like we know each other's world. When he really was at Dell and I hadn't worked at Dell for such a long time, I didn't know his world. I didn't even know his friends because they weren't in town. They were in Chicago and in other places that he would travel to, you know? And so we were separated 3 nights a week, and we were both living different worlds, if you will. But now, we do enjoy the same thing. And even though real estate is on our topic most of the time, golly, real estate's so fun to talk about.
Well, and so we have work dates, right? So in the middle of the day, we're off somewhere, seeing a house, doing something. We can go have lunch.
Yeah.
We stop and have a glass of wine, like at a winery,
There
if
you
you
go.
see one. So we kind of make it fun, and then with work.
Yeah.
I think one of the other things, and this was an early challenge, and has become a real blessing, is when we first started working together. We're both talented in different areas. And when we started working together as a team, we thought, hey, you know what? Oh, I want to do that. I want to do that. And we're going to do those things together. And we all want to. And there was real conflict because we had to figure out our lanes. There was, 90 days of real struggle there. But what came out of that was a couple of things. Number one, we figured out what our lanes were, but we really now understand each other's gifts. More than we ever have before.
Yes.
So now it's not, hey, well, I want to do that. It's like, no, I mean, she's awesome at that. Why would I even want to be involved? Because she's going to crush it. So I can go
slow up the process.
I'm totally going to screw that up.
Yeah.
so let me let her do that thing, and we end up both being so much better off for that, and I can get joy out of seeing her excel at what she does.
Yeah.
And I would say if you're a husband and wife team, get an assistant right away. Like, don't try to do everything yourself with each other. Like, get an assistant. Get someone who fills in the gap. We did realize I have strengths, he has strengths, and we have some very clear weaknesses between us that neither of us could fill that gap very well. And neither of us wanted to fill that gap. And so we have an amazing assistant, and she fills that gap for it and loves filling that gap for us. She knows me really well. She knows Brian really well, and she can help, fill that in, smooth that over. She knows what we need, and that's a lifesaver to our team and then to our relationship, I think.
So the makeup of the team then right now, is it you two and her?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
And her name is?
That's Christina.
Yeah,
Christina
Christina.
Keller. We love Christina.
Shout out to Christina Keller. I think
Woo-hoo.
we're Facebook friends, actually.
You probably
Probably
are.
are. Probably are.
It sounds familiar.
She's aggressively friendly. She is very, very friendly.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
she's a lifesaver for us. So we're very lucky to have her. I think she's loved it because she started off, she didn't have a license. She came in and started off as our assistant. She's working on getting her license right now, and she's so thrilled with how much she's grown from a knowledge perspective. She's like, I can't believe I even know the stuff that I know now, and I'm doing the stuff that I'm doing now. And so it's awesome to see her grow in that role.
Like your little child growing up.
She's growing up into a real estate agent.
So you guys that's where the team's at now. What would you like to see happen, in the next few years with your team? I mean, long term, do you guys see yourself ever getting out of real estate? Like, what's next for you guys?
Do you ever get out, Jordan?
Not with people I talk to.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We're going to be
It's like The
85.
Godfather. You're trying to get out and they
85.
pull you
I'll
back in.
sell you a house. I'll sell you out.
Yeah.
I'm coming.
Yeah, like Abby
Yeah.
Halliday, right?
Mhm,
Yeah, so
exactly.
you're 104.
Heck yeah.
So that is the $1 million, the multi-million dollar question, right? So we have figured out what we're great at is the relationship piece of the business and building the systems. Over the next couple of years, we're super focused on being so successful in our own business that we can't help but add other people to the team. So instead of growing through others, we want to grow to a point where we need others, and that attracts others to us. So that comes through building the staff and building up more and more people to to help us just walk into appointments and crush it. And to a point where we have so much business that that also supports others, and that we can help help them grow.
I think that's such a key. People always want to, well, not everyone wants to grow a team, but if they do, like some people grow when they don't need to. They just grow because they want to. They want to have those, that big team and everything like that. But
raise your hand if that's you.
But the right way to do it is to grow because you have so much business and you need people, to help you grow.
That's a lot more organic, and I think, like we talked about earlier, your early question was, how have you had so much success so quickly? It was just driving through a lot of that stuff, just like, we're going to do it no matter what, paying for leads, whatever it took to get, the success. And now that we've been doing it for a while, it's like, okay, now we see a lot more clearly what we need to do, what we want to do, and for sure, building this business organically where we're like, come on, you got to join us. It's this thing that's going crazy.
Yep.
And I think long term, with our children, we would love to have 1, 2, 3, however many of them want to join us and, continue to take the business to the next level.
Because how old are they?
So 18, 16, and 12.
Any desires yet for real estate from any of them?
You know what? It's yes.
Yes.
It's interesting. All three of them have expressed various degrees of interest. None of them have gone far enough to explore that, but they're very much interested in the conversations we're having around real estate investing.
Yeah.
And around the strategy to, I wish we had 17 houses ago, to keep your first house, and then use that as stay in it long enough where you can then keep it as an investment property when you buy the next one, and so on and so forth. So we're having all those conversations. At least our youngest is very much interested in the business.
The 12-year-old?
The 12.
He's so cute. He had to sell, he's in orchestra. He's in 7th grade. He's in orchestra. This has happened a couple different times. He had to sell these pies for orchestra. Well, my other boys are real introverted, and they would not even knock on someone's door. Like, they think that's death to them. They're going to fall over.
They would actually have to go outside.
Yeah.
They have to leave the house.
And so, but the little one is like, that doesn't bother him. So he has gone around our entire neighborhood by himself for hours selling these pies.
Wow.
So we're like,
He did it before with the athletics department,
Yeah.
selling the tickets, and he sells out like every time.
Really?
So he cracks us up. So we're
Little
like,
salesman right
yeah,
here.
He totally
he's a
is.
little
We're
salesman.
like,
And he's
yes.
just friendly, and he's nice, and he's knocking on the door, and the people are buying pies, and he.
He's
Right?
good.
He's
We
so
work
funny.
on a script before he goes out. We're
And
like, okay, what are you
hey,
going to say?
We need to send you around with some real estate flyers,
Yeah,
and like,
yeah.
hey, my mom and dad are real estate agents. We're going to start like,
Buy, sell, or invest.
exactly. Putting the cute guy on the front end
Exactly.
of that thing. So,
Yeah.
But we really are talking, just because that's the only thing I talk about. We really are. we really are talking about that with them all the time. And part of our vision around the business, and we've been sharing it with them, is we want to keep our family close. So they're going off to college. We want to keep them here in Dallas-Fort Worth, and I'm sure they'll have great opportunities. So our oldest is exploring colleges, and I'm sure he's going to come out of that with great opportunities. But no matter what, we always want him to have an opportunity to stay close to us and to work with us. So if he chooses to do that, we would love to have him,
that's
and love to develop and see him grow with us.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, a little family business.
little
Yeah.
family business. That's right.
What, so before you guys got into real estate, I'm sure people were telling you, but you should get into it. It's going to be this and that and this. Like, what do you think was the biggest misconception that you heard than when you actually got in and like experienced it? Or was there any?
You listen to before he got in, he listened to 6 months straight of every real estate podcast possible.
I mean,
he
literally
was
hundreds of hours.
consuming podcasts at a massive rate for real estate. So I'm sure there are some things different than from what this podcast said.
So, so there were, and the interesting thing is, the podcasts honestly make it sound a lot easier than it was. And this business is simple. It's really simple, but it's not easy.
Yeah.
So, and when you listen to the podcasts, It's, well, insert this and, put a quarter in the slot, pull the
Then
trigger,
and
pull the
go.
lever, and then out the other side comes this many deals.
It's clockwork, right?
Absolutely, you should get at least 2 transactions for every listing. Okay, that sounds simple. That is not easy.
Yeah.
So there are so many things like that the the teachers, the podcasts, the books, whatever it is, make it sound like insert this and out the other side comes that. And that may be true, but it takes years to do that.
Sure.
When you look at the MREA and it talks about how many deals you should be able to get from your sphere of influence, I believe that 100%. But that's not something that you do that year 1, and then all of a sudden by the end of year 2, you should be able to get 12 deals for every, or 2 deals for every 12 people, right? So it takes time for all those things to come through, and that's probably the, being in a microwave world and hearing all the podcasts. I certainly thought, hey, you know what? I'm a smart guy. I've got a corporate career. Insert this, and we'll have $100 million in 17 minutes.
Just like that.
Dang it.
Just like that.
Yeah.
Jiffy Pop. No, we're not quite there. So that was one.
Well, I know. So you guys, obviously, education is a huge part of your guys' world, and I know. I don't know if you both do, but I know you go to like masterminds and you mastermind with other agents, and that's really what Real Producers is about, is bringing together like successful agents to grow into master. So you guys, what are the? Is there a couple of different ones that you guys do, and what has that done? Like collaborating with other top producers, what has that done for you guys and your business?
So I'm a firm believer, the famous Jim Rohn quote is, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with.
Yes.
Right. So and if you want to get better, you need to get into a better room. Right. So you need to surround yourself with better people. So
you don't want to be the smartest guy in the room.
That's exactly right. Yeah. That's exactly right. So so we do a couple of different things. We've been thrilled to be a part of Real Producers. We joined DFW Mastermind last year. I have we're actually going next week.
Yeah.
We get together a couple of times a year with a group based in Phoenix.
Yeah, I think I saw something about that.
That they are, they are wow.
Yeah.
Really an exceptional group of people, and I don't know why we're in the room.
Yeah.
So you're not the smartest person in that room?
I'm definitely. I am working really hard not to be the dumbest person in the room. It is we've got a battle going there with a couple. So and they're spectacular, and I can't write fast enough, and they have so many. Their thinking is so much bigger. So it's not, and it's not just about okay, what are you doing for this? Or which tool to use, or everybody's favorite question, the question I see on like lab coat agents all the time is stuff like, which CRM to use?
Yeah.
Just whatever one you're going to use, right? So it's not about that.
Yeah.
It's about what's your approach to the business, or how are you thinking bigger? How are you serving your clients better? It's about those kinds of ideas, and if you have the right ideas and the right mindset, then the business and the tactics will follow.
Yeah. I love that. Speaking of serving the clients better, have you guys read Joey Coleman's book, Never Lose a Client Again?
No.
So he's speaking at our national conference here in a couple of months.
Oh,
but,
okay. Awesome. Okay.
Essentially, the whole concept is within the first 100 days, that first 100 days of experience of working with you will determine whether they're going to be a repeat customer for life or if that's the last time that they're going to work with you.
That's awesome.
And so
That is awesome.
pouring into that first, not just it's 100 days and you're done, but that is such a key time. So it might be a good read. We're working on it right now. So
One of the things that, as we've gone through this process, we kind of have gone through this last 3 years, and a lot of times we look at each other and we feel like the biggest failures in the world. So, it's funny to sit here, it's a power couple issue, and to hear you say that we're, the top 95% of agents or whatever, because really we look at each other and go, wow, we need a lot of work. We have failed a lot in the last 3 years. And we pick ourselves
Last 3
up.
months.
Yeah, last 3 months.
this morning.
This morning. So we pick ourselves up, we dust ourselves off, we get enough courage, and we go out there and we do it again. And every time we fail, we talk to our kids a lot about this, because I probably think we are the biggest failures from anyone that we know, and that's why we're so successful. Because we're picking ourselves up, we're getting back up again, we're dusting off, and we're going after it again. And we're learning from that failure. And we've learned so much in the last 3 years about ourselves, about our the way we do business. But one of the things, in order to take really great care of our clients, is we realize it's not just about the transaction. There's a lot of things in that transaction that you cannot help. I mean, things that you cannot foresee, you cannot help. You're there for your clients, you're helping them through them, but those tough situations come. But it's not just about that. It's also about, are you loving and helping your clients outside of real estate? And so we're working very hard to love on our clients outside of real estate. And our clients, they know they could call if they need a painter, if they need some design help, if they need some business help, if they need tax help, if they need investing help.
You guys are a resource.
We are resources for them.
If they need blank help.
Yeah.
Yes,
Then we wanna
then we want to help them. And we want them to know that we're the resource. And so in 2020, we've really developed our calendar of what we kind of want the year to like, what our events are going to be, what giving back we're going to do for our clients. And now we're really, for the first time I think ever, going to really put together this repeatable business where we are really loving on the people who have helped us be successful. And we're super excited about that.
Got a process in place for that.
Yes.
Which I was going to ask, what do you think is the biggest thing, and maybe it is that, the biggest thing you think you still need to improve in your business, and is that one? Obviously, it's an area that you guys are working on heavy next year. Is there anything else that you would feel like in your business that not there?
Well, so I think that is one half of. So when we built the business, we did that. We did that in a couple of different ways, but we bought leads. Right, we kind of bought our way into the business with a lot of the, high calorie sort of stuff that just burns through. It's highly transactional.
Yeah.
And it's super expensive. It's an incredibly expensive. It's expensive because it's expensive emotionally because you don't know these people. They're not invested in you. You don't have a relationship, and you've got to develop all that. And some of them are a great fit, some of them aren't, but you do the best job you can for all of them, right? But it's incredibly expensive in a lot of ways. And we've, over this last really 2+ years now, been weaning ourselves off of those high expense, high calorie lead sources. Doesn't mean we're reducing what we're spending, but we're spending it more on the people that know, like, and trust us.
Yeah.
To develop our relationship even more, whether that's just some small thoughtful gifts or events or even during the transaction, right? We're sending warm cookies as a congratulations, we just left the option period. We're doing some different things just to give them little celebrations.
Yeah.
To make the process, it can be a really stressful process. So anything we can do to give them some comfort, to make them feel a little bit better about it, I think is a big win.
That is 100% like the Joey Coleman 100, never lose a client again. Like talk. There's points, the option period where you give a reward, give a gift, like make them know that you're still there, like supporting them. Like there's the buyer's remorse stage, and you got to be there to reconfirm it was the right decision. All that stuff is huge.
And we are very blessed to have this business that we created, and we don't want to just use that to just create more business. We want to use it to bless other people. And we have an opportunity to bless the people that we, like Brian said, know, like, and trust at a level that just makes us kind of laugh, with excitement. Like, we get to just bless them. As soon, we're going to be buying everyone, like, that we know, bottles of wine for like Valentine's Day, right? And we're blessing everyone with wine, and they could come in and have wine and cheese. So that's just fun events that we're going to be having, and we're super excited.
Well, I love that, and I was looking how quick this has just flown by. We have about 6 minutes. I want to make sure I get a few things in. Speaking on giving, there's a charity that you guys are pretty heavily involved in, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's called Journey to Dream.
Journey to Dream.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that and your involvement.
Yeah, so we got involved. We got involved 3, maybe even probably 4 years ago now. And so, just a great plug for anybody who's involved in a charity. We got involved because we got invited. So we got invited to just sit at a table to kind of go to an event, a gala with them, And then we started learning more about it. So I just encourage everybody to invite others to be a part
Yeah, that's good.
of whatever it is that you do,
I love that.
because they may not know about it, right? Lots of people want to, and they're looking for ways to make an impact, and you might be able to help them with that. So we got started, and what Journey to Dream does is we serve teens, specifically teens in crisis in the North Texas area. So we're in 6 different high schools. Teens are important, and the reason we're focused on that is, man, teens are a whipping.
Yeah.
If you've got teens, they're hard.
And we had a teen in crisis, and so this is very near and dear to our heart, helping teens, because teens get pushed aside.
They get pushed aside, and they're hard.
Yeah.
Right. So when they've got everything in the world, and so many don't. So we're in 6 different schools to help and provide kind of peer counseling programs, education around all kinds of destructive behavior. At various times of the year, we have, we've got a program coming up called Shop with a Cop, actually in December, where a lot of the Denton County Police, Louisville Police come together, and we actually send them to Target with a cop. And so it does a couple of things, right? So these kids who are often in trouble get to go with a police officer, and it's a highlight. They get to ride in the front of a squad car versus the back, right? And they get to see that cops are civil servants.
Yeah.
They're not, and for so many of these people, cops have been the enemy, right? And in fact, that's the opposite, right?
Yeah.
They're there to serve us and keep us safe and all that. So there are just a bunch of different kinds of programs. We have a homeless shelter. Believe it or not, there are 16,000 homeless teens in North Texas.
Just in North Texas.
Just in North Texas.
Dang.
We have a home right now that holds 14. So we're in the process of trying to figure out, okay, now we've got a system there.
Yeah.
And we're trying to figure out, okay, how do we expand that?
Yeah,
what does
how
the
do we
next home look
replicate
like?
Yeah.
How do we replicate that? So
Good for you guys.
we started. I started just serving. Joined the board a year ago, and this year I had the opportunity to serve as president. So
Great.
It's been.
That's awesome.
I love that.
blessing.
Well, good for you guys for giving back. So with the last few minutes, short answers on, let's see if there's a biggest challenge that you guys have faced in your life personally or in the business. What do you guys like to do for fun outside of real estate?
Yeah.
And if there's just anything else that you'd like to say.
Okay.
Biggest personal challenge that we faced was our teenage son, who went through a very severe bout of depression. So that was our most difficult thing we've ever faced while we were brand new in real estate.
Yeah.
It was all an adventurous
So
time.
it ties in with what you guys are doing with Journey to Dream.
It absolutely does, and that's a big part of it. That's a big part of it.
I love that.
What do we like to do for fun?
So
Brian likes to talk about real estate.
I do like to talk about yes. We like to do podcasts.
Yeah. Talk shit. Yeah.
You know what? So we like to. I play golf poorly. We like to drink wine. We like to travel.
Yeah, we need to do more international travel. That's on our dream board. But with the 3 boys, we haven't really done much of that. But that's what we're working towards. That's like our big goal, is to spend like the next 10 years traveling as much as we can out of the country.
Geneva and I want to go to a Formula One race outside of the country.
Okay.
We went to the one in Austin.
Okay.
And it blew our socks off.
Yeah,
and so
that's awesome.
That's fun.
They're in Brazil, I think, right now. So
I
That would be a
saw
good
you
one.
at that
Yeah.
race. I saw your pictures at the race,
Incredible.
so it was awesome, huh?
incredible.
Yeah. Good goal.
Anything else that you guys would like to say to the Real Producers community, to other agents, to your clients, to anything about you guys?
Yeah, get involved in Real Producers. Get involved with other agents. You know, get out there, meet people, find out what they're doing, make friends with other agents. You know, you need a lot of support in this business. It doesn't happen overnight, and the more you fail at it, the better you'll get.
I love that.
Yeah, I would say, and whatever you're doing, just serve with your time, talent, and treasure. If you give away everything you know, then it comes back to you. When you give away your resources, it comes back to you. When you give away your time, it comes back to you. So you literally, we always say you can't outgive God. And the more you give, the more you get back, the more you're blessed, the more you serve, the more others are generous with you too. And we all grow together.
Yeah,
That's beautiful.
Love that.
Well, thank you guys so much for
Yeah,
being on the
Jordan.
very first episode of RPTV.
Bam.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, and
so fun.
y'all stay tuned for their article that will be hitting mailboxes very soon, and we look forward to seeing you on the next episode of Real Producers TV.